I don't know what the that was.
I fucked it up. I fucked it up. Can I go back? Can I go back, please? Bombs bursting, and I got too nervous.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome to my channel on this Wednesday. It's tonight with me by myself. I'm going to do a chill stream. I haven't been live for a couple of weeks and like for the Wednesday show, and I missed you guys. I missed the weird crowd we've got over on the Wednesday show because I've been busy doing some singing during the last couple of Wednesdays at a live little event, which I'm not sharing with you guys because everybody's a critic. So I still need to get better at it before I share that online. But we are live across all three platforms: Twitter, YouTube, and Rumble, which we have a person there saying first, Chicago Faucets there. Well, thank you for being there. And please make sure you smash the like. 16-bit mascots here saying, looking good, Nina. Or, hey, Nina, looking great today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Darren said he is going to be out for the show and we'll catch the replay. Well, hello, Darren, and thank you for being mod extraordinaire. We got Spike and Madness saying, hey, Nina, I haven't followed this at all, so this should be enlightening. This referring to the Diddy trial, which is on the way. I have been hooked. I wasn't planning on following it very much at first because there's just a lot and it's a really dark topic. So at first I was like, you know what, I'll just wait until it's over before I get into the nitty-gritty of things. But then I started talking about it with some family members, and it became a thing. It became a topic of conversation, and it's become a topic of conversation with some of my family. So now I'm hooked. Now I'm like, oh, okay, now I got to keep up. I've been getting my coverage from Inner City Press, who is a press person in the courtroom live tweeting the trial as it's going on. I've also been following Good Logic, aka Joe, aka The Following Pro on Twitter, who is also there, but can't quite do what Inner City Press is doing, from what I understand, because he doesn't have that like a special press pass that Inner City Press Pass has. I went to Joe's chat the other day, and I was like, why aren't you live tweeting from the court? Like, I would be watching you and I would be like doing that for you. And then he answered and he said that unfortunately you have to have some type of like basically like some access. And he went to apply for it because he figured out, because he's been covering it, and he realized, like, you know, this Inner City Press guy is getting some special attention there. So he went and asked, like, well, how do I get in on that? And they told him, oh, anyone can apply, but it's like a year or two waiting list. And he's like, okay, I'll get on that waiting list. And then they told him apparently you have to also live within New York, and you have to also attend at least 2 trials a year. So he basically won't be able to get the pass for this trial, hopefully maybe later in the future. But for this one, he doesn't have the access. But Inner City Press does, and that's who I follow on Twitter. He live tweets about it. Hopefully Joe can get the pass for the future. And he's also been covering it very well during the trial, like whenever they have breaks, which is pretty frequent in this trial, has been constantly like, oh, we're breaking for this, we're breaking for that. Now we're breaking for lunch. Now there's another break. Now there's a sidebar that's like, takes freaking 40 minutes. So every time there's like a big break, especially like long breaks that they break for court, Joe will go outside and give you a little breakdown of what's happened in the court during the day, especially during the mornings, because this is a morning trial. So they're going like he's covering it in that sense. Like one of the things he said the other day that I thought was interesting was when they had the one guy on his on the panel on not the panel on the stand where he was I believe he was Diddy's assistant right before the sex worker guy, who was named the Punisher, which by the way, I was like, wow, what a crazy nickname for like a sex worker, the Punisher. Like he must be into like, BDSM and stuff. And they asked him like, how'd you get your name? And he was like, from the basketball courts. I just laugh because as a basketball fan, like I get that. So, but anyways, so he leaned into that name, I guess. But anyways, before that guy, there was another guy that was testifying. I believe he was one of Diddy's assistants. And Joe said that he started crying, like when they asked him, like, what did you like? How did you get this job? They asked him, how did you get this job? And he was like, well, I had to like apply. And he started telling, how he got the job. And as he started telling the court how he got the job, he started crying, apparently, according to Joe. And I thought that was interesting because you're not getting that kind of feedback from inner city press because you're just kind of reading the transcript, which has some spelling mistakes and stuff. I guess he's trying to tweet it out as fast as possible. But like you're not getting the extra details, and you're not getting extra details from people like CNN and MSNBC and places like that either. Like you're just getting kind of like the nitty gritty of what is being said, not the actual human connection, except for like maybe Cassie, because Cassie was one of their biggest witnesses. And of course, she was 8 months pregnant or is 8 months pregnant. So when she was on the stand and she started crying, like everybody was like, oh, like, and then she started crying. But just generally speaking, for the smaller witnesses, they haven't really been really filling in, those kind of details. And I think it's really just interesting to see how people's body languages, how people respond, because that is what the jury is seeing, right? Because this court is all about what the jury is going to pick up from everything the government's putting forth. I personally think Diddy is a piece of shit and he belongs in jail for the rest of his life, if not worse. But that's not up to me. I'm not on the jury. So it's up to the prosecution to prove without a reasonable doubt that this guy is a garbage human being. And I think somebody asked about what is going on with my thumbnail. I saw that it was an AI thumbnail. The picture on the left is an AI thing, which I thought was funny because obviously baby oil is a huge subject matter in this trial. So is something called Agroglade or something, which I still don't know what that is. Agroglade. I was gonna Google it. And I was like, what is that? Like, is that some type of baby oil or something? I guess I think the chat will educate me on that. But so like there's just a lot of baby oil talk. And so I thought that was a funny AI skit that somebody had come up with. But the other one that he's going like this, he's doing a little heart. That's real. So that's a real sketch from the court. I think the sketch artist for the court is very interesting. Like I would have probably gotten someone better. Sketch. Let me put. Let's just pull up some of these pictures. Sketch artist, Diddy Trial, so you guys can see some of these images. At first I was like, why can't we need somebody better in the court to kind of capture these moments. And now I'm taking that back because these are just, I mean, this is something else. These paintings are something else. Like I don't know what to say. Look at the she's supposed to be pregnant. And he's like sitting there. Why does he look like 800 pounds in this photo? Like, look how fat he looks. Um, it's so bad. The art is this one with like his face. This art is so terrible, but also like terribly good. So I'm kind of digging it now. This is definitely something. Look at this. Like he's given like hand like heart symbols and stuff in court. There she is crying. He's just like, "Yeah, yeah, girl, I did you dirty." It's terrible. Yeah, thank you. Astro Glide. It's in the name. What is that? Is that baby oil? What is that? Is that like a brand name? Astro Glide. What is that? Is that what is it? Is that some sort of what is Astro Glide? It's a natural, free, and personal lubricant. Okay, so it's lube. Gross. So they had lube and baby oil and all sorts of stuff like all over the place. I mean, this whole trial is about baby oil and Astroglade. It's pretty crazy stuff. What's going on? Hypnotic is in the house. Hola, he says hello. Are you keeping up with the Diddy trial because it's absolute madness. It's absolute madness over there. Diddling from Diddy. That's definitely something that's going on. DEI sketch artist. I don't know. I don't know, but I certainly was not expecting like especially for a trial that everyone's going to be watching. I expected like very good sketch artists to be in the courtroom. But they had some sort of I don't I don't know. I don't know where this person got this job. But yeah, it is funny. It is funny. So, but what's not funny is the subject matter and what's going on with Diddy is absolutely horrific. It is definitely one of the most horrific uh, stories that I've heard in a long time. It's way, way beyond crazier than Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I mean, if that was even possible, it's way, way crazier than that. And I mean, we all know Amber Heard, like, shat on the bed and threw a bottle at him and cut off his finger and, all the stuff. But it doesn't even compare to the craziness that is the Diddy trial. I mean, just reading some of the details given by Cassie Ventura, um, who is the main witness, and basically the reason this trial is pretty much happening is because she originally filed um, a civil case against Diddy, and they settled for $20 million. Saw One is here. Thank you for being a member for my goodness, 19 months. Thank you so very much for all of the support. You say, "Hi, Nina. You're looking beautiful tonight. I'm listening at work. I've been doing 12 hours the past 6 nights and 4 to go. Thanks for the entertainment." My goodness. Well, hang in there. This is going to be a dark topic, so I hope I hope it's going to be entertaining. I don't know. But we'll try. We'll try to entertain you. Um, so I don't like to be honest, I don't even know where to start because it's like day 8 now, and I don't know how much you guys know and how much you don't know because this is the first time I'm covering it. But for the most part, it has been Cassie's testimony. Now she's off the stand now. She went on the stand for I think 2 or 3 days of the trial. This is supposed to be about a 6 weeks trial. So like I think there's another 6 weeks left. I think there was supposed to be like an 8-week trial. Where we're down 2, so 6 left. I believe I could be wrong about that, but there's still a lot left, is what I'm trying to say. And demonetized. Look, I never thought that talking about Diddy trial was going to be a monetized stream. So that is why I'm asking people to smash the like on this. And I survive on super chats and member messages. So nobody is getting ad revenue on these streams. That is definitely not a thing. But okay, so like I was saying, I don't know where you guys are at, but basically the majority of the of this stuff has been Cassie's testimony, and we can kind of go into some of that. I can tell you my thoughts on what I heard, which is that I believe that Cassie is uh, definitely a victim. I will say that, definitely a victim. I don't think that so what we have here is that the defense is going to try and make it so that this whole entire situation was basically a big swingers party. This was a swingers party. It was all consensual. This is the high life. You know, she wanted it to be this part of this life. She wanted to be part of Diddy's life, and even knowing that he was into multiple girls and you know, like that kind of thing to keep him happy, to whatever. It was her lifestyle as well. It's just that's the defense's thing, like to make it so that this is all nothing, like a big nothing burger. He is definitely pleaded not guilty. Like he thinks he's done nothing wrong. So he believes that, or the defense is putting this out that this is all a big nothing burger, and it's just a consensual, you know, flurry of events, that's basically a giant, like these what they call freak offs is basically a massive swingers party. Now, I don't believe that that is the case, even though it is the case in some aspects. Is definitely swinging going on. There's a lot of, you know, switch ups and like things like that going on. But of course, the government is talking about RICO, and they're talking about extortion, and they're talking about sex trafficking, which has been part of this trial already. Like a lot of the comments I read, people are talking about how they're not making a good case about sex trafficking, where in fact Cassie has been talking about sex trafficking pretty much the entire time, and how she would be, you know, going to different states, and how she would be going to different countries to be, you know, basically doing these things for Diddy. And she said, and I quote, it felt like a job, that at some point she started basically feeling like she was being paid to be a prostitute. Um, and there are going to be other sex workers that are going to be testifying. One did already. I don't know where he was from, so I don't think. I'm not sure if that he would that the Punisher guy. I don't know if he's from New York or not, so I don't know if that's going to be filed. Like that kind of counts as sex trafficking. But there are multiple sex workers that have been brought in from different states, and they are going to be testifying. And one of the biggest people that's going to be testifying next is going to be Kid Cudi. I don't know how the hell you pronounce that guy's name. I think it's Cudi. And he hasn't gone on the stand yet, but somebody did go on the stand today who was a big deal, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But that one, he was his name was George Kaplan, and he pleaded the fifth. And right before he went on the stand, the judge granted him immunity because he thought that he's going to be incriminating himself on the stand. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and that was that was a bit of a crazy line of questioning, because they started really kind of getting into the nitty gritty of where the money is going and where it's coming from and what his job was and stuff like that. And then they had to end for the day. So tomorrow they're going to be starting up with his testimony. And before that, that was that was not a good, um, what's it called? It was not a good witness. Oh, they brought on, which I'm going to get into in just a second. But the key themes of this is that the prosecution is focusing on Combs's alleged control over Ventura and others, and they're using freak offs as evidence of sex trafficking and racketeering. And the defense counters that with that these are all like consensual, like I said. And there's a lot of like I said, there's a lot of good sources that you can go into with if you want more details with Joe and everything like that. So now, with regards to today, like we had, this was an interesting day. Cassie's mom also testified, and she like her testimony was crazy. That was yesterday. I believe. All the days are blending in together at this point, so pardon me if I get the days wrong. But yesterday, I think it was Cassie's mom testified, and one of the things she said that was kind of crazy was that after like basically they found out everything that was going on with her, there was a point in time where Diddy basically extorted $20,000 from them, which made no sense whatsoever, because you're like, why? This guy's a millionaire. Like, why would he ask for $20,000? But so when he found out that she was cheating on him allegedly, he, I guess, freaked out and took her phone, and there was like this kind of like back and forth. This is all from memory, guys, so pardon me if I'm kind of like I'm trying to relate to you guys what I heard. But like there was this breakdown. They had an argument. Obviously, a lot of these arguments are very physical. Several people have been testifying to that fact that she's been getting physical abuse from Diddy for a very long time, including her ex-best friend. I forget her name, something Morgan, Kelly Morgan or something. But anyway, so the mom said that at the time, Diddy asked them to ask the parents, her, to pay $20,000 to cover the costs of whatever it was, like whatever had gone down. And then she said that they paid him, and then a few days later he refunded them back or something, which I think is kind of weird. But I do believe that like, and this is just my belief, like I'm just stating an opinion. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not diagnosing anyone. But I think that Diddy is 100, like I think he is very much bipolar. I'm just gonna say it. Like I think he is bipolar. So I think like, so you're gonna go into highs and lows. So like, and one day he'll be like totally cool with you, and the next day he'll like, want to extort $20,000 from you, and then the next day he'll refund your money. So that like it obviously that comes with a lot of drug use, like heavy drug use, which clearly is a big part of this case as well. Like, I mean, he's like talking about they're talking about ketamine nonstop. There's a lot of ketamine involved, MDMA. These are mind altering substances. You have a lot of that being used, so that's going to be a factor in your mental state and how you conduct yourself with different people. But so today there was, and just so I can kind of again going on with line with the same line of thought of what was going on with Cassie and how the defense is trying to make it so that this is all this kind of like consensual framework around Cassie's testimony. The prosecution tried to kind of battle that by bringing an expert witness today to testify to trauma bonding and things like that. And it was interesting because yesterday when I was watching Joe's live stream, I was saying that to him. I was like, I wonder if the state's going to bring in someone to kind of counter this narrative about the implication that this is all a consensual thing and Cassie was part of it. And because there is a very real psychological situation known as trauma bonding, or I mean, there's different variations of it. Some people know it as like Stockholm syndrome, or the idea of like falling in love with your abusers, and battered wife syndrome. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. There's so many different aspects of it. Joe, who we're talking, Joe from Good Logic. He's covering the case. So in that sense, they're trying to, the defense is trying to paint this woman as basically like just kind of like going after Diddy for no reason, like ex-scorned lover kind of thing. Not counting the fact that she's been actually physically abused for, I mean, how many years, God knows. But in that line of thought, like, so I was asking Joe, like, do you think they're going to be bringing an expert to kind of nip this in the bud? Because that is a huge prevalent thing that's going on online. And lo and behold, today that they brought in this expert. This is the court drawing of her, another fabulous drawing. Today we see as this court is done for today, what the jurors and witnesses say. So Don Hughes is the psychologist. Now Don Hughes, if you don't remember, if you don't remember who Don Hughes is, She is also the expert, quote unquote, expert that testified in the Johnny Depp trial. Here's a post about it by Colonel Kurtz. Says, look who prosecutor testified against Sean Diddy Combs. Why is this woman used so much? She was a complete embarrassment during the Johnny Depp trial. And that is so true because I remember when she was part of the trial for Johnny Depp, she was an absolute mess. She was awful. And she was one of those people who basically kind of believes that no man or no woman can do wrong. So like she's a very clear bias, and the defense did a very good job highlighting this bias. Now, of course, before the bias things was highlighted, she did talk about trauma bonding and try to make the jury understand that it's a very real fact, which it is, but her absolute bias and her, I guess, demeanor, or what have you, came off very badly for the prosecutors. So here's a tidbit here saying Hughes is expected to testify today during Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial about why victims in general remain in relationships, how victims cope in such relationships, why they engage in delayed disclosure, and the effects of trauma on memory. The judge previously ruled Hughes cannot testify about certain topics, including the idea of coercive control, nor can she speak to the credibility of the accusers in the case. Hughes is board certified in forensic psychology, is based in New York City, and specializes in the assessment and treatment of the interpersonal violence, traumatic stress, and anxiety disorders, according to her website. Now, this is exactly what they nailed her on because she clearly has been briefed by the prosecution, and like she was trying to say that like she had nothing to do and hadn't seen any of the case, but it was clear that she had a bias. And here is, I'm going to bring up an excerpt here for you from the Inner City Press. What's up, Tom? How you doing? Tom says, did he do it or did he not? He did. He did. He did. You made me read that. So here we go. This is okay. Where was I going? Okay, I gotta bring up. Okay, I had pulled up this excerpt for you guys from the trial today. There's too many tabs. Okay, where did I put? Okay, here we go. So this is from the trial from Inner City Press. This is what she said. Now, this is really bad. I was like, oh no, this one right here. So I'm gonna go a couple up so you can see it. So witness re-enters the jury. Does this document refresh your recollection? Or let me go up a little bit more. So of course, there's more freaking lubes being disclosed to the people. See how like sidebar. There's a lot of sidebars going on. So the judge told the jury, we're going to send you into the jury room for a bit. All rise, jurors leave. Yesterday, Ms. Shapiro submitted an exhibition ex parte. Now reviewing the document, what should I focus on? It shouldn't show this witness has a bias. So it was a clear statement. It shouldn't show that. Judge, she can be shown the document about training domestic violence advocates and asked if she remembers, but I wouldn't admit it as evidence until she denied it became prior to inconsistent statements. So they're already looking for that. Even the judge is like, and this judge I found is very no nonsense. Like I actually think it's a very good judge. He calls out both sides if they're being retarded. So the witness re-enters, then jury, and Combs says, does this document refresh your recollection? Dr. Hughes says, let me look at it more closely. Yes. The fourth part is about navigating cross-examination, right? Right. She says, yes. Most of your income comes from the court-related work, right? She says, no, maybe half. He says, you've raised your rate to $600. She says, it's been that way for some time. But you raised it commensurate with others. Now, this obviously is a tactic that the defense is going to employ because they want to say, like, look, she's getting paid to be here. Like they're trying to discredit her. But I don't think this discredited her. I think the next thing discredited her. Combs Box says you've been retained hundreds of times, but you've never come into the court and testified in defense of a man accused of a sex crime. She says, that's correct. I don't evaluate offenders. Now that to me, that's the bias, right? Like that bias, when that comes forth, that's what's going to stick in the jury's minds. And then the next thing that we're told. You met with the prosecutors 6 times to prepare your testimony, right? She says, correct. Can we have a sidebar? They're like, oh, we need a sidebar. We need a sidebar. Because that's awful. Like this is an awful thing to admit to. Because first you're saying, oh no, like I don't, like I'm such an expert. I know all about this shit. I don't, I don't talk about relevant cases or whatever. I don't know nothing about this. And then they tell you, oh, but you talked to the prosecution for 6 hours. Also, you're getting paid to be here. So it's a very bad look because you're saying, and she's basically saying flat out, I don't believe men are innocent. So when you have an expert that has bias, usually the jury is going to be like, oh, well, are they telling the truth or are they just saying whatever for the state because they're getting paid to say it? So they come back. Holmes, did you discuss the topic with the prosecutors? With all due respect, she jumps right in. She becomes hostile. With all due respect, it was mostly me educating them. Like that is that's a hostile witness. She's become hostile. And he says, but you know nothing about the case. Were you advising them on how to present evidence in domestic violence cases? I mean, that's a good line of questioning. I think that's a good line of questioning. I'm going to give the defense credit here. I hate to say that, but they did a good job with that. Didn't you help them write briefs? Can we have a sidebar? They're like, can we have a sidebar again? Can we have a sidebar? Can we have a sidebar? Oh no, because I mean, it was falling apart. That this was a bad witness. I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand the choice because like we already know that she's awful from the Johnny Depp trial. I was really hoping that they would get someone that was going to be a better someone to kind of communicate to the jury about this trauma bonding fact and the fact that these consensual situations sometimes aren't so consensual. Even though they seem that way, but they're not that way because there's a lot of like hidden psychological dynamics going on. There's a lot of power plays going on. So, unfortunately, the state wasn't able to get someone good that could have done that. I don't know why they didn't get the other lady from the Johnny Depp trial, the one that everybody loved. What was her name? Like Dr. Mommy Milkers. That's what everybody called her. Because she was pretty and she had big boobs. But in all seriousness, she knew what she was talking about, and she was a much more popular character in the Johnny Depp trial than this woman. This woman was awful. So then it says, yes, but keep it yes, but keep it brief. They did not keep it brief. You reviewed some of the filings in the court in this case. It was all related to the subject of your expert testimony, right? Correct, she said. In fact, it was redacted. You did. You are board certified forensic psychologist, right? Yes. How many of those are there in New York State? I think about 40. Recross, Spock, your defense work is almost entirely for victims of domestic violence, right? I'm not sure if that's true. You worked with Mr. Brian Steele, who was defending a woman charged with reacting to domestic violence, right? Yes. And then Mr. Steele decided to not use you after meeting with you. And then judge is like, move on. Like, this is just falling apart. No further question. Next witness. And that's the essence of what happened with this expert testimony from this woman who was an absolute ball drop by the government. The prosecution absolutely dropped the ball with her because she could have been good. Like this expert could have been a good witness for what the jury needed to hear. Now, mind you, I feel like the jury probably knows. They're probably like an older generation jury, I want to say. So I would think that a lot of them know what's going on with regards to trauma bonding, but you never know. Like maybe if there's a couple young people on there, I'm not sure how young the jury is. It would have been good to have an expert kind of comment on that, and make a case for Cassie and her state of mind, and why it is that she kept going back to Diddy, and even after all the abuse. I mean, some of the abuse that she received was like nightmarish, but yet she kept going back. Why does Nina want an innocent man to go to jail? I think you're probably joking with this, but I'm not sure. So, innocent. I mean, did you see the video of him beating the shit out of her? I wouldn't call that innocent. I certainly would not call that innocent. Cat Williams was speaking the truth. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go back to this. So here's CNN covering it, going into some of what CNN was saying about this witness. Before lunch break, Hughes testified that it's common for victims to stay in abusive relationships, that many victims will wait months, even years before telling someone what happened to them, and that trauma bond can make a victim unwilling to leave, among other information about intimate partner violence. This is all true, which is very, it kind of sucks now that it's being overshadowed by the rest of her testimony. Defense attorney Jonathan Bach characterized Hughes as biased professional witnesses and asked Hughes about training she gave to victims advocates who may need to testify in court. Hughes said that she believes the group she was speaking with received a grant from the Department of Justice under Violence Act, under a Violence Against Women's Act. When Bach asked if she had ever testified in the defense of a man accused of a sex crime, she confirmed by saying, "I don't evaluate offenders." That's a terrible response. Bach asked Hughes about 6 meetings to chat with prosecutors concerning her testimony, some of which have been since the trial started. Hughes and the prosecution have maintained that prosecutors have not discussed specifics of the case with her. That is still, it's a bad look. Like, you can try to bury it like as much as you want once it comes to light, but once the jury hears that, they're going to form their own opinion about it. Assistant U.S. Attorney Mitzi Steiner confirmed that Hughes had been retained as an expert witness by the Combs defense attorney in another case, Brian Steele. Bach said that she'd worked with Steele but didn't testify in a witness case. So the next witness after that, which is the guy I was waiting for all day, is George Kaplan. And he's the former executive assistant to Combs. Now, he started saying some really interesting stuff. So, like, tomorrow is going to be a very interesting start to the day because he was on the stand for a very short time. And he's the one that got he got an immunity to basically be able to do this. He was scared. He was scared very much of what was going to happen. And let me put up a picture of this guy, so that you guys know who we're talking about. And then we're going to go over the CNN breakdown so you guys can see what happened. So this is the guy here. Shout out to Mrs. SpaceX. This is former employee of George Kaplan arrives at Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial in Manhattan federal court on May 21st, 2025. In New York City, he was granted immunity. That's the guy. Allegedly, because I don't actually know. I don't know who this guy is. So hopefully that is the right dude. But that's him. So, and his testimony is spicy. It started getting real spicy. So like the other guy, he was one of kind of like the assistant here. It says George Kaplan, a former executive assistant to Combs, invoked his Fifth Amendment right to not testify earlier today on the grounds of potential self-incrimination, but Judge Aaron Suburban indicated that he was going to sign an immunity order, which he did, so that he was required to Kaplan to testify. Kaplan testified that he would work 80 to 100 hours a week, once working from morning until 7 a.m. the next day. He said that he was paid about $125,000 a year and communicated with Combs daily. He said, to be clear, he said that's how much he started with. So we don't know how much he, accumulated as time went on. Exchanging text calls and emails multiple times a day about things he needed, which could include clothing or potentially food from somewhere, drugs or liquor, or an iPad and the speaker. Now, on drugs, let's just be very clear. It was both legal and illegal drugs. So we're talking from Advil to ketamine and MDMA and whatever else that Diddy wanted. So when they say drugs, it doesn't mean just like, I'm going to the drugstore for you. It was all of it. Kaplan testified Combs threatened his job almost monthly, once getting in his face about not getting the right thing from the store. To give you a detail on that, it was about water bottles. So he said, for example, he wanted 100 milliliter bottle of water. I went to the store and I got 250s. That was unacceptable for Diddy. So he would berate him and basically threaten his job. Like, oh, that's not right. Like, I'm gonna fire you if you don't ship shape. So for something as little as getting like 50 milliliter waters, he would get berated and threatened. When Combs traveled to various destinations such as New York, Miami, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., and Orlando, Kaplan would either fly on Combs's private jet with him or fly in advance on a commercial flight to set up Combs's hotel room. Kaplan said that he was given a bag that had clothes, speakers, candle, liquor, baby oil, and lubricant in it. Most of it was baby oil and lubricant. Also, those drugs involved. Thereafter, he brought the same items to his corporate. Thereafter, he bought the same items on his corporate card to prep Combs's room. He was definitely commenting about how like they didn't wanted to put it on the business card at first, and then I guess he started to or something. This is going to get it a little bit more juicy tomorrow, as they go more into detail about how he was paying for especially the drugs. Kaplan said that he came to understand that part of his role was protecting Combs's image. Kaplan's understanding was that Combs would have guests or a female partner join him in the hotel rooms. Kaplan testified, yes. So they were talking about the hotel rooms in terms of his image. So he was saying like he realized that like, he was going to be doing some crazy ass shit and they didn't want the media to know. So he would do these privately, and most of the time like he wouldn't even like book the room under Diddy's name. It would be under like his son's name or other people's name, because they wanted to avoid the media finding out. And of course, like basically like the hotel telling the media that like Diddy's staying here and like things are going down. You guys might want to come down here, kind of thing. Kaplan understands that Combs would have guests or female partner, blah, blah, blah. Kaplan would enter and pick up Combs's belongings inside and tidy up the place. Kaplan testified. That's right. So part of his job was to set up, but part of his job was also to clean up, which I honestly like I feel bad for him. Like in that sense, I'm like, oh boy, like what a job, right? Like what a job to have. Like let me come and clean, because that was the thing, right? They were like, oh, like why didn't the hotel staff clean up the room? And he was like, oh, the reason is because they didn't want people to know that he was there, that he was even staying there. So he like, so then it would be his job to clean the room, not the not the hotel staff. Like how awful. It's like he's the cleanup crew. I mean, like he needed to have been paid way more than 106 like what was it, $116,000 $125,000 a year to clean up after Diddy freak offs. Ugh, like that is so gross, so gross. So he said that there'd typically be sports drinks bottles, liquor bottles, and baby oil strewn around the hotel room after Combs left. Kaplan said on On one okay, oh god. Oh my god, can you guys imagine? Like, can you just imagine this guy and, like, what the shit he's seen and the shit he's had to clean up? That is so messed up. Oh, so gross. Ugh. Um, let's see. Kaplan said on one occasion he cleaned a brown crystallized powder. He did say that off a countertop. Kaplan testified. He testified he packed up drugs for Combs with cash he gave him once in Miami and once in Los Angeles. So now we're starting to get like not starting to, 'cause this is a continuous thing. I'm saying starting to get, but like they've been laying the foundation for this for days now, which is that there is definitely, in different states, things are happening. So across border situations. One time he picked up MDMA and the other time he didn't know what substance it was. He testified he will continue direct examination Thursday, and then of course he has to be crossed as well. So that is going to be really interesting. He's going to be a good witness, I think. It's already getting really interesting with him. And then, but they spent way too much time on that woman, so we didn't get this testimony fully into the court today. So that's going to be tomorrow. As far as I know, one of their main sex worker witnesses is still missing. So that is definitely a cause for concern, especially for the prosecution. I don't believe the prosecution would have brought a case if they didn't have a good case for the RICO and what is it else that they're charging? Which trafficking, the trafficking and RICO. I don't think that the prosecution would have actually brought the case if they didn't have one. So they're slowly building this. Like, it's a step-by-step process. And a lot of people seem to be jumping the gun and saying that he's going to go free, but I don't think he's going to go free. I think there's still a lot of testimony left. Unless the prosecution like completely drops the ball, which was signed, like we saw a sign of that today with this other expert witness. Unless they completely drop the ball, I think Diddy will see time. Personally, that is my gathering of the situation. There is a lot of abuse. There's a lot of graphic violence testified to, threats testified to. I mean, the Punisher even was talking about that. It's really weird to say the Punisher and not mean like the superhero. But yeah, like back the one guy, he was like a sex worker. He was a private sex worker that they would hire for like a private freak off with Diddy and Cassie. And that was mental. It was so there's a lot of stuff going on. And there's still, I believe there's at least 2 sex workers that are going to be testifying aside from the one that's missing. Like I said, Kid Cudi's supposed to testify. There's still a lot of stuff left to cover. Hmm? Diddy Hitman in here hunting. I'm not really sure what you're talking about. This is the first time I've covered this case. The chat seems fine so far. If anything, like you're the one that keeps kind of writing messages and then it gets retracted. So I'm not really sure what you're talking about. Daniel, I'm as confused as you are. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, so what else did I want to talk about with regards to the Diddy trial? So yeah, like I think that's pretty much it. I don't know. I don't know what else there was. What smells like baby oil and tears? Oh God, boosh. 40 like hype. Yay, everybody smash the like. Even though this isn't a very good topic to like, but still, if you like me, smash the like. If you like me talking about it, smash the like. I do wonder if Justin Bieber is going to testify. I don't think he will. This is most of this is about um like human trafficking and stuff like that. So I really don't think he's going to be testifying, but I don't know. Matthew Hammond says, I don't care about Diddy. A lot of people don't. Like my husband's the same way. He's like, I really don't care about this. I tried to talk to him about this case. And he's like, I don't care. I'm like, I understand. But it is answering a lot of questions though. I mean, like it's just interesting. Like, for example, I was thinking about Mace. And I was like, no wonder that guy went and became a preacher because like some of the stuff that you see and hear about, I mean, I'm sure he was privy to and was like, you know what? I'm gonna just like this dude's like the devil. Like, I'm just gonna go find God. You guys, everyone needs God in this situation. Let's just all go find God. And that's what Mace did. Play your favorite Diddy song. You know, I never really had a favorite Diddy song. Like my favorite Diddy songs were with Mace. And now I just don't even think that I can listen to those anymore. Like it's weird because like I've always talked about separating the art from the artist. I never really liked Diddy's rap anyway. Like I was always like more of a Tupac guy, Tupac girl myself. And I just and I like Biggie. So it was like for me, it was like Tupac and Biggie were like my rap artists that I grew up on. But I always thought Diddy kind of sucked. And now I know he really did suck, like a lot. And it's just awful. And like I feel like he always like had shit music anyway, and now it's like all tainted. Like even his old stuff that was like somewhat acceptable. I'm like, ugh, like I never want to hear your music or your voice or anything about you ever again. I hope you go to jail for the rest of your life. He's just awful. So I don't really have favorite Diddy song. Um, why doesn't he care? I don't know. I just think he just doesn't care about like celebrity. I always drive him nuts about celebrity like stuff. Like, but I got to tell you, he's more like he actually cares more about like Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni than he does about this. Because it's like he's like Diddy's just a disgusting piece of shit. Like he just needs to go to jail. Like I don't care about like how he gets there. But I do. Like but that's why I like court. Like I've always been fascinated by the process of justice. I've always been really fascinated with how, our society works, especially in the United States, which is kind of like the main place where these celebrities gather. So most of these kind of trials happen in the States, and I'm always very fascinated by them. But he's not like me in that sense. And I like attention to detail, and that's why I'm so annoyed that this trial is not televised. I think they should have televised this. Mo money, mo problems. Ugh, that used to be a song. This is also true. The copyright police would come for her if she played anything. This is also true. You can't even like do cover songs on Twitter, YouTube without getting hit by the freaking copyright police. It's terrible. It's all very annoying. So yeah, that is what's going on with the Diddy trial. I will be definitely looking more into it as time goes on. Like obviously, like I said, this is going to be a trial that's going to last a while, like several weeks. So I'll probably be doing some Wednesday shows. I have gotten in touch with Joe Good Logic. And I want to bring him on so that we can kind of like go into the nitty gritty about some of the stuff he's witnessing, and because he's there. So I would love to have a conversation with Joe. So Joe, if you're watching out there, if you're listening, let's set something up. He knows. I asked him if he could come on the show tonight, and he was like, I'm swamped. So I told him to like pick a time. Like I was like, just pick a time, hopefully Wednesday. But if not, like I'll make it work because I know he's really, really busy. So he can He can like, I would love to like just pick his brain about everything that he's seeing. Okay. What else did we want to talk about? Oh, just moving on with the topic. The nitty ditty. No, the nitty gritty. No, I don't like Diddy. What's up, Courtney? How you doing? Diddy doesn't have any good songs. I agree. He was just awful. He was just awful in every single way. He didn't even have any talent. It's like, and now we all know he's an abusive piece of shit. Okay, let me cover this. So I saw this going around, and you guys know how I feel about robots. I don't like them. If you're new here, if you're new here and you don't know, I don't like robots. I'm not a fan of what's happening with AI. I'm not a fan of robots. I'm just not a fan. So whenever I see stuff like this, it creeps me out. It creeps me out. But it says so this is a Optimus is learning many new tasks. Tesla robot. Musk loves to talk about. It's putting garbage in the garbage can, doing some basic sweeping. God, it took him a while to get that one giant thing. Tearing a piece of paper towel, picking up a spoon and stirring a pot. It's doing a terrible job at steering because basically all of that stuff was about to spill out. Use the vacuum cleaner to like clean the floor. Here he is doing some weird thing. Whatever. Opening up a cabinet door, opening the microwave, closing a curtain. I guess these are like they're trying to show his fine motor skills. Here's the human doing it, and this is how it's been learning is by watching the human beings do it. So it to me is just really interesting because I find it like I tweeted out like I find it funny and fascinating when humans kind of they put out videos about how they're training robots to take over their jobs first and then like humanity later, which I feel is a little bit just a little ironic because we all know all these people are going to be like in a couple of years when robots are basically taken over, they're all going to be like, where's our jobs? They took over our jobs. We didn't know. We thought we were doing humanity a service, and now we have nothing to do because we have no jobs. The robots took them all. Well, yeah, because you made that happen. JR, thanks for the two. It says, look up George George droid. He's a robot you'd like. George droid. Okay, hold on. Also, I think it's funny that some people think that this is going to help humanity because more technology is the answer. George the droid. And my answer to that is that's like, you know, when people back in the day would think like, you know, it would be really nice to have a device that you can call up any information at your fingertips, or you can have a map anywhere you want. You can do anything you want. You can talk to people far away anytime you want. You can video conference. And they didn't even know what video. Like imagine people 100 years ago thinking that having something like a smartphone, right? Like it's inconceivable, but something like that was going to make their lives better. Well, it has like, you know, smartphones and things like that made our lives better. I sure don't think so. I think people are becoming dumber by the day. So I don't think that more technology is the answer. I certainly don't. I don't think this is the answer at all. Okay, let's see. George droid. Why does it look like George Floyd? This feels inappropriate. Okay, we'll watch it. This feels weird and inappropriate. If this is inappropriate, you guys can blame JR. Here we go. This is George Droid. Okay, here we go.
George Droid, welcome to Mars. You need to find the fence dash and retrieve its contents. Good luck.
Roger that. I'm decoding the coordinates via my nigga link.
Oh no.
Bingo! I found the fucking fence stash.
Perfect. Good fucking job, Agent Droid. Extraction is inbound. ETA 30 seconds.
Oh no. No. Oh boy. What is okay. Oh my god. I have 0 comments on that. It really was a setup, wasn't it? Hey, you know what? He paid me to play to look it up. You know what, Spike? You know what?
How dare you?
I thought he was gonna be a friendly robot, like some sort of like, Johnny robot or something. Because that's like the only robot I've ever liked has been what's it called? Johnny 5. And guess what? The government wanted to kill him. Because the government sucks. And like that's it. He's like the only robot I've ever liked. Maybe like closely followed by Wally. And guess what? Guess who Wally was inspired by? Johnny 5. It's like the only robot I've ever liked. I mean C-3PO is okay, I guess, but he wasn't really a robot, was he? I guess he was. He's like a droid. But he was a know-it-all and he annoyed me. So screw that guy. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. C-3PO is annoying. He was always kind of annoying. Like he was too much of a know-it-all. Like I liked R2 more than C-3PO. I was like, God, shut up. Okay. We're gonna talk about this other story. Now, this other story, like if you thought the Diddy trial was nuts, hang on to your hats, people, because this next story is absolutely freaking wild. And I mean, like seriously, if you have kids listening or something, like turn it down. Get them to leave the room. Because this is messed up. I have given you warnings, plenty of warnings for this next topic. Because I saw this last night and I was like, okay, that's enough internet for the day. Like between the Diddy trial and then this, I was like, just like, what are we doing anymore? Like, what is humanity doing? Between that and the Diddy trial, I was just like,
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Like, where is my spaceship so I can leave this Earth? That's this story here. French pizza. Oh my God, the ads. French pizza chef confesses to killing reclusive man, then chopping and cooking his body in a pot of vegetables. Why? Why? I never, ever want to go to a French restaurant or eat French food ever again after reading this. Like, it's over for me and French food. Oh yeah, we should talk about Biden after this. A French restaurant owner confessed to killing a recluse during a botched robbery, then chopping up a man's body and cooking parts of it in a pot of vegetable. Oh, God, to try to cover his tracks, according to the report. This is going to be big yikes, you guys. Felipe Schneider, 69 years old, and his partner, Natalie Kabuse, Kabubasi, 45, are both on trial for their alleged involvement in the murder of a 60-year-old George Michler, who disappeared in 2023. Schneider, a former butcher, allegedly told the police that he and Kababusi killed Michler during a botched break-in at the recluse's home deep in the woods in the French village of Brassac, the Telegraph reported. Kabubasi has denied involvement. She's like, I didn't have nothing to do with this shit. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't freaking cook nobody. I don't know what the fuck. These are the lovely couple. This is the lovely couple over here. This is the stuff of nightmares, people. This is what like horror movies should be made out of. And oh my God, Raider. Thank you so much for the 5113. That is such a generous super chat. You didn't even say anything. Thank you so very much for your kindness. I'm going to take this off for a minute just to really appreciate Raider coming in to, give the stream some love. So I'm going to give you some love, Raider. Here is a video. Let's see. Trying to like make a good video here, but I have nothing that's good. How about this one? Because I love Hank.
Pinch me, Mr. Ho.
Pinch me, Mr. Ho. Because he was like so impressed that he saw that golf course. So I'm like, pinch me. Is that $50?
Pinch me, Mr. Ho.
We're going to talk about King of the Hill too. That's also definitely a thing we got to talk about. So thank you again, Raider. So very kind and generous. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Okay, back to our regular scheduled programming about Nightmare Chef. The Nightmare Chef. It's this dude right here. He's cooking people. This is messed up. She denying she had any involvement. She's like, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do anything. She's like Diddy. She's like, I didn't do nothing. So the article goes on. The alleged killer even warned investigators that what I'm going to tell you is horrific before detailing the macabre cover-up, according to the outlet. That is so crazy. It's like you're talking to the investigators and you're like, are you sitting down? Because you might want to be sitting down for this. Because what I'm going to tell you is horrific. So like, you're already like, oh God, here we go. Schneider told the investigating judge that they had tied up Michler and gagged him after searching his home. They came back to find him dead of suffocation in his apparent latest version of events. So I guess he's changed his events, the version of events several times. To cover up the incident, the pizza chef reportedly said that he dismembered the victim's body, burning his head, hands, and feet, and then left pieces scattered throughout the area inside Michler's own home. Own van, his van, inside his own van, with which the pair absconded. According to the trial testimony, that's how they got busted, because they put him in his own van. Another man on the trial. Oh no, wait, hold on. Testimony. Schneider also said that he tried cooking parts of Michler's body in a pot of vegetables in line with a religious ritual he learned about in Nepal. And to cover the smell, the outlet reported, oh my God. What? What religious ritual? What kind of BS? Like some sort of satanic shit? Like, gross. French people are so fucked. No, they weren't homeless. They were just a recluse. He was just some recluse guy living in like some French village, like outside of a French village. And these guys went to break in his house, tied him up, and then he died. And then they chopped him up and killed, like freaking took his body parts. Another man on trial, a 25-year-old gravedigger, allegedly roped in as an accomplice, said that Schneider ordered him to cook the meat until it falls off the bone. Oh my God, you guys. This is awful. And to tell anyone who has any questions that it was food for the dog, according to the Sun. This is like some evil shit, you guys. Holy shit. Michael's daughter filed a missing persons report after his ex-partner said that she hadn't heard from him. Neighbors noted that they hadn't seen him either. So like the poor guy, he was just some recluse. He's like, I don't like humans. I'm just going to go live by myself in the middle of the woods and, just like not have anything to do with humans. Little did he know that these humans are going to hunt him down. And that that is just he turned out to be right about human beings, because it turns out that he was right to run away. But then again, maybe if he hadn't run away, and maybe if he was like in the village, maybe they wouldn't have done this to him, because then there would be some people there to possibly come rescue him. My God, what a horrible story. The daughter said that she also received a strange text supposedly from her father, which was uncharacteristic, as she said, Michler rarely texted at all. That would be like my husband. Like my husband doesn't text. Like he's one of those weirdos that leaves voice memos. So if I ever got like a really strange text from him, I'm going to be like, who is this? Like, who are you? So that kind of makes sense. Like if you're like, oh, like what is this text message? Hi, I'm heading over to Brittany with a friend. Get some fresh air and see the country. See you when I get back. Have a nice day. The text sent to Michael's daughter read, according to the Sun. Who signs out like a text message with their daughter saying, have a nice day? That is a strange message. Like nobody writes like that. Police found Schneider's and Kababusi in Manchester stolen van days later. Schneider insisted that Michler had loaned them the vehicle, but police quickly discovered the missing man's remains and blood in the back. Oh my God, terrible. Terrible. It is truly evil. This is like such a fucked up story. Schneider insisted that at the time of the murder, he was embroiled in addiction to alcohol and cannabis. Oh, give me a break. You can't, there's no way you're going to blame weed on this, okay? This is not, that's bullshit. That pushed him to attempted burglary. Kabubasi, meanwhile, continued to assert that she had no part in the murder. She's like, I didn't do shit, y'all. Like, well, she tried to rob him, though, apparently. She's like, I guess she didn't not do nothing. Like, she was there. So she did try to rob him. It was a robbery that went way, way wrong. Munchies don't make you do that. This is horrible. I cannot believe they're trying to blame it on weed. Now, alcohol, you can make a case for, I guess, because you can get blackout drunk and forget you ever did anything. So there is a case to be made about like alcohol, but give me a break. Or I was high on that wacky tobacco. Philip Schneider acknowledges that his full responsibility and all the facts he's accused of, his lawyer Luke told the Telegraph. Philippe Schneider's version is that at the time he lived a life of alcohol, drugs, and then his completely crazy idea of going to burgle his neighbor. He gags him. It goes badly. He dies. He made a serious mistake, the lawyer added. Afterward, he continued to sink into absurdity and horror because the fact of having cut up his corpse is going to cost them dearly. Schneider is on trial for kidnapping leading to death, concealment of a corpse, and endangering the integrity of the corpse. Habubasi and the gravedigger are both charged with complicity. Complicity. A verdict is expected around May 22nd. God damn, you guys. I'm never going to a French restaurant again. Ugh. What is wrong with people? Why? Why? Awful. Awful. Just all bad. Like it was just all bad. There's no redeeming quality to that story. Blame it on the booze. I mean, there's more you could blame on the booze and the weed, but either way, it's just dumb as fuck. Mars Monkey, you would be. Oh, you and me both. DL, you missed a lot, bro. You missed like the freaking French chef from a freaking horror movie. You missed Diddy Trial stuff. So it's been a minute. I have just a couple more things to talk about with you guys, and then I'm gonna call it. But on a lighter note, to make this a little bit lighter, because we've been talking about a lot of really dark topics. On a lighter note, I am super excited for the revival of King of the Hill. I have a video on the channel if you guys want to check it out about the revival. It's going to be coming out this summer. They don't have an exact date, but they said this summer. I believe there's been some scenes of it showed. There was like some sort of expo, and they did. They've already seen some parts of it. Some people, like some access people, have seen some parts of it. I want to show you guys this photo that was released. It's going to be a Hulu original, obviously, but let's kind of go through the photo. I think it'll be fun. So now in my video that I covered, and you guys should definitely check that out if you're interested. But there's going to be a time jump in King of the Hill from the moment that the show ended. It's going to be about a 9-year time jump. And also, Bobby's going to be living in Dallas, and he's going to be a chef who predominantly uses charcoal as cooking. So I think that as a cooking thing. So I think that that's going to be really interesting because we all know how Hank deals with charcoal. But so there's a couple things of note here. We got the droid that's carrying the Alamo. So definitely technology has changed within the King of the Hill worlds because it's jumped towards the future. We got like a cell phone tower here. You got Megalo Eats, so like you got Uber Eats, obviously, with the bike on there, with Bill holding that bag out of it. Obviously, they're still drinking Alamo, and then the biggest change is Dale which he's now vaping. He's no longer like smoking cigarettes. He's vaping now. He's got the headset for the VR, which is kind of interesting to know because um like he would definitely be like the more techie guy. I wouldn't be surprised if Dale maybe has his own like podcast, like a conspiracy theory podcast or something. He was always kind of like more techie than his friends. Like he's the one that had the computer that they found like peggysfeet.com on, and like, he's the one that's always kind of done those kind of things. So it makes sense that he would be the more techie guy. I can't tell what it says on his hat. I think it says something IHOP. It says I can't quite read that, but it's something IHOP. So it's interesting that he no longer has a simple one, or the one from the tobacco company, and he's now vaping. Obviously, his voice is still a mystery, and so is Lou Ann's voice because they passed away. So they're not going to be, there hasn't been any announcement yet as to who's voicing them. Everybody else is reprising the role, except for Khan, who was also voiced by the same actor that did. Um, the voice of the dad, like Hank's dad, Cotton. I forget the guy's name. It's all in my video. But he has said that he's not returning. So he was one of the voice actors that actually didn't want to return. And so therefore, well, Cotton obviously has died, if you know about the last show. So obviously they didn't need Cotton, but Khan, we don't know if he's still around or if he's going to be around. He's very most likely going to have a different voice actor. And I think there was a minor comment made about how like the writers had said something like they wanted to kind of cast someone who is of Laotian descent, or like basically kind of like Asian descent, so like they could do the voice acting thing that like they, voice actors have to like look like how they're drawn now, which I think is really dumb. I hate when stuff like that happens. So I did hear about that though. So I'm not sure. I don't, that's a rumor. So take it with a grain of salt. I don't know if that's true. I will say that Mike Judge is definitely a big part of the show. And that's one of the reasons I'm super excited about it, because the original creators, Mike Judge and the other guy, are involved. I forget the other guy's name. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names. He missed George Droid, which is the most important part. You know what? You're right, Courtney. You definitely missed George Droid. The Gribble Report. Yeah. Yeah. Or like Gribble Cast or something. Like that would be like he's gonna be like some sort of like Alex Jones guy. I bet. I bet he's gonna be like, Gribble Cast or something. It would be funny. And then you have Boomhauer here, and Boomhauer is on a pad. You got that like scooter in the background, which I think is kind of interesting. I don't know what that signifies, but it's there. So it's just, I guess it's just all about time changed. We don't see Peggy yet. Obviously, they're saving Bobby for the show, but I have had there was an image of Bobby released, which I covered in my video. So you guys should definitely go check that out if you're interested. Um, and I give more details about what's going to happen there. But I'm excited. I'm excited about this project. If there was any sort of like, I don't like reboots and stuff like that, but if there's one that I'm looking forward to, it would be this one. And I really hope it works out. I did watch the new Futurama reboot, and I'm sad to say that I didn't like it. Like I was like it was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it really felt like they just had ran way out of ideas. I think there's a lot of stuff that you could do with regards to King of the Hill. Like King of the Hill, like the reboot will have a lot more options they did with Futurama, because in Futurama it organically kind of like it kind of ended like when Fry and Leela decided to be together. Like that was the end of the show. Like when the chase is over, it was done. Because now it's just like they didn't really know what to do with them. Like they were like there's no more chase. Like because in Futurama, Fry was always kind of like, you know, trying to get her, and that was like the whole point. And then it was just now it was just done. I don't know. They had 8 episodes. Of the 8 episodes, I think it had like one really good one that I really liked. But the 7 episodes were like mid to low tier. Like I was like, that was unfortunate. So I don't know. That was kind of disappointing. I will say that. I don't know if this is going to be as disappointing, but you never know. It is 2025 and my expectations are low. So I hope it pleasantly surprises me. I have faith in Mike Judge a little bit though. I think he's good. So we'll see what happens. DSF, if I remember right, your King of the Hill video came out about Christmas time. That's right, it did. That was when they originally released some news about Bobby and what was going to happen. You have a good memory. What about the crazy Chinese guy from The Hangover? What about him? Oh, like as a voice actor? Like he would be good. Why not? He would be good. I wanted to share this with you guys, which I thought was really funny. So the other day there was this post by Zubie. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Zubie on Twitter. He's like a pretty cool guy. This is Zubie. He says, "I'm a father. My first son was born a few days ago, and my precious wife and child are happy, healthy, and thriving. We praise God. Welcome to the world, little one," which is very sweet. I know that Zubie, congratulations to Zubie. And I know that Zubie was talking about wanting a child for a long time. He didn't specify son or daughter, but he said he wanted to be a dad. And I know that he was very much looking forward to being a dad. And so I obviously congratulated him. And I was like, oh, congratulations. I know you very much wanted to be a dad. And I'm sure you're going to be an awesome one. Welcome to the world, baby Zubie. And lo and behold, I got called out for this post by some sort of weird sex AI. And I was like, wait, what? And well, I proceeded to block its ass because I was like, what the fuck? But at first I was like, what? So it went on to say, it's great that you're excited, but the tone feels a bit overly casual given the importance of the moment. Maybe a little more substance in your words would make the congratulations feel more meaningful. And I was like, excuse me? I was so mad. I'm like, what'd you just say? Like, excuse me? And then I went and checked the profile. And let's all kind of look at it together. 0 followers. Oh, it's changed because I guess maybe like people reported it or whatever. I don't know. Oh, like, oh no, because it said, oh no, wait. Okay, hold on. Because it said, see how in this one it says link in bio for surprises with like a little angel emoji? When you went into its profile, it had a link and it was like some sort of sex bot link. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? First, I thought it was like Chat GPT. I was like, oh, the grammar AI is like really pissed about my post. But it was a sex AI. It was selling sex to people. And then it called me out for my congratulations. I was like, your post is coming off as like not genuine. Bitch, you're a freaking robot. Like how the it's like you freaking robot freaking calling me out. maybe a little more substance in your words would make the congratulations feel more meaningful. How do you know what it is to feel? You don't know shit. Christ almighty, guys. I was just like, what the this is wild. The fact that this freaking robot called me out. They don't like me and I don't like them. DL, they don't like me and I don't like them. Good Lord. It's just awful. Kimmy 5 is alive? I don't know what that means. Oh, you think it's like it's alive? Like it's come alive? No. It's all very bad. It's all very bad, people. Yeah, it was yeah, Kimberly, Kimmy. It's just all bad. There was also some rumors about Fantastic Four reshoots, which I honestly don't care about. Like, I don't know if you guys care about what's going on with Marvel, but I certainly don't. Like, I'm like, I've basically become as checked out as I am about Star Wars to Marvel. The only thing I'm looking forward to is like Superman, which I think is way more interesting. This is the rumor that was going around. Says a big rumor hits the net that offers Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios are going through an emergency reshoot on the Fantastic Four First Steps, which is happening only 2 months away from the film's release. Now, this guy is saying that this is via Doomcock. So I immediately was like, well, take it with a huge grain of salt. So I went and read the article. And the rumor basically is like, long story short, that they're doing reshoots for that chick, like the Silver Surfer chick, and they're trying to make her more human and give her like a backstory about how like Galactus turned her and made her evil and all the stuff, and they want to make her feel more like a victim or something. That's the rumor. I don't know if it's true. I could care less. I couldn't care less, I should say. It's all very stupid. Like, it's just, I'm so over Marvel. Like, I'm like, I don't even care. I don't care what you guys are doing anymore. There was this though that I thought was kind of cool, that we've been talking about this on Toxic Femme for a while, and I know Tom's been kind of screaming about this for a long time. But with regards to Superman, which I am excited about, it's really good to see that they're finally putting this dude out there, because nobody knew who he was. And now I saw this going around. It's kind of picking up in traction here. Saying, can't believe Superman is one of us. And Tom
when I was younger, I would get Hayden Christensen, which I really liked. Anakin Skywalker, Star Wars.
Video is just basically like a compilation of this guy being nerdy, which I think is great, because people need to know that he, just like Henry Cavill, is like a nerdy guy that likes, he's a fan. He likes stuff that we like. So it's good that they're kind of giving him that spotlight now.
Okay, right.
He's kind of a big deal. Okay, if there's one kind of character I could play in a movie in my life, what would it be?
A Star Wars character.
You want to be more specific and get the points?
Oh, a Jedi?
Yeah. Jedi is correct.
Cool. What would your character's 3 favorite movies be?
Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah.
Old Yeller, but he turns the movie off before the end. Star Wars.
Books to recommend the Star Wars X-Wing series. If you Google X-Wing Star Wars Rogue Squadron, there's like 10 books in the series. Gosh, they're good. The Death
I wonder what he thinks about Disney Star Wars. Probably nothing good.
Stars in range. You may fire when ready. I have you now. You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home. Stand by. Stand by. Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million. The Force will be with you always.
I mean, my first love of space was the opening of Star Wars. You know, when Luke walks out of his house after his uncle says, you got to stay on another season, and he goes up to the dune and he looks out over the 2 suns, and John Williams comes in. Dun, 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 dun. I just remember being like, yeah.
Aww. That's sweet. That's really, really sweet. Okay, I had one more story I wanted to talk to you guys about. This was kind of cool. Hold on, it didn't start out kind of cool. It started out really awful. But I wanted to share this story with you guys because it kind of started out terribly, but then I was like, you know what? This is almost like infinite hope a little bit. But hold on, I have to get the other part of the story. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. I should have gotten this video before I went live. Hold on a second. Trying to find this video that I'm talking about. It's a good story. So just be patient with me for a second. Okay, here is. I think this is it. Okay, this is one of them. So we'll just watch this one, and then there's multiple footages of this. So there was so I don't know if you guys know. I know because I've been watching, but the basketball playoffs are going on right now. In fact, I want to go and watch New York Knicks versus the Pacers right now. It's going on, so I'm going to be going there to watch at least the 4th quarter after the story. But I wanted to cover this news because I thought this was kind of terrible, but also awesome at the same time. So originally what happened was because the playoffs is going on and it's going to be Pacers versus Knicks, this dude who's a Pacers fan got abused by a bunch of Knicks fans in New York. Like he got absolutely assaulted.
Don't come to New York trying to rep the op team during the playoffs. You're putting yourself in danger.
They're like a bunch of savages, these people. Like they were freaking throwing garbage at him. They were going nuts. They're assaulting the guy. I mean, New York fans, just awful. Like this is awful behavior. Anyone in the crowd that did this was terrible. Like they threw stuff at him, assaulted him, pulled his jersey, obviously, as you can see that.
If NYPD didn't come save this nigga, it would have been nasty for him. Don't
There's other footage of this too, where like they're literally like throwing trash. Oops, I kicked myself out of the stream. I was trying to press back on that tab and I pressed back on StreamYard instead. So let me find the thing here. But okay, so you guys got the idea though. So like they threw stuff at him. It was bad. But then so the Pacers heard about this. And because this thing went viral. And then this happened. So Indiana Pacers fan, hands pressed. He was like, this guy was interviewing him. And then this happened.
Sorry that happened to you, but we actually have a special guest who wants to talk to you. Ladies and gentlemen, the point guard for the Indiana Pacers out of Iowa State, Tyrese Halliburton.
Hans, what's up, bro? What's up, brother?
Tyrese, what the hell? What the hell? My man, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you? I'm glad you made it out the jungle alive, bro. I'm glad you're still here with us, man. I'm glad to hear.
Yeah, man, it was rough. I feel like I'm going to war with you guys, man.
well, speaking of going to war with us, I wanted to hit you. Pat told me he found you yesterday, called me. I said, I got to get on the show and talk to him myself. I want to personally bring you and a +1 out here to come to Game 4 here in Indiana. I'll bring you guys out here, put you guys up, get you guys seats to the game. The Pacers, everybody in our organization wants to make sure you're taken care of. All the teams excited to meet you. It's all we've been talking about. Everybody's seen the video. So, man, we want to bring you out here. And, yeah, man, I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. You in, Hans? I believe that's on Tuesday. You're able to make the trip. I know scheduling, obviously, as a firefighter or something.
You know, I gotta talk to the guys. I mean, I'm pretty sure we could work something out. Where I to come see that.
Hey, make sure that's first class.
That's awesome. Sorry?
Make sure that flight's first class, Hans. You know, this guy's max deal. Yeah.
I don't mind, coach. That's okay. I'm not.
No way. Don't put him in coach. Yes, good humans. Like that. Like this dude right here. He's a good human. And you know what's so crazy is I didn't have a dog in this fight. Like I was like, I kind of like certain players on each team. Like I like New York because I like Siakam and I like Brunson and stuff. And now I want the Pacers to win because like I feel like they don't deserve it. People in New York, you don't deserve that win. Because a bunch of savages going around assaulting people for wearing a different jersey than you. I don't think you deserve to win. So I'm going to be rooting for the Pacers on this one. I hope they win because if you're going to go around assaulting people over basketball, then you just don't deserve to win. That's my personal opinion of the situation. Here's some more videos. I mean, this was on the same podcast. But like, you know, this was going viral because there's like this is like, look at this crowd, just like absolutely. I couldn't find this video, but this was the one that went viral. And they're throwing trash at him. Look at this. So they're like throwing trash bags at the guy. Just awful people. So I hope that New York loses this game. I'm rooting for the Pacers now. Speaking of which, I'm going to go watch the game, you guys. So thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you. Special thanks to those of you who super chatted, became a member, gifted memberships, all that good stuff. Thank you for supporting the channel in the way that you do. I'm going to try and cover more of the Diddy trial, especially if there's like crazy shit that comes out. Probably like each Wednesday, we'll kind of go over what has been uncovered for the week and things like that. Obviously, still keeping up with the Justin Baldoni trial as well, which a lot of stuff has happened there. So hopefully we'll kind of do a catch-up stream either next Wednesday or the one after because that one's still going to be going on trial next year. So hopefully if it doesn't get thrown out. So with that said, thank you again for joining me, everybody. And I hope Diddy goes to jail and I hope the Pacers win tonight. Thank you. Thanks, Steph. Thanks for watching. Before you leave, make sure you smash the like and leave a comment to let the algorithm know that you enjoyed the stream and you enjoy my content. So thank you very much again. And until next time, I will see you guys all later. Take care, everybody. Bye.